We begin with a conversation with Nancy Bowen-Ellzey of Bowen and Associates. Nancy, could you give us an idea of some of the main principles of your study and what it found?
Primarily what we found was that we were looking at existing business mix for the trade area, but also downtown Covington, to see where gaps might exist and where might particular opportunities be for business development and economic development and the creation of jobs. And really what we found is that there are plenty of opportunities for new businesses, expansion of existing businesses, attraction of new businesses, and downtown in particular, there's already a good mix, but there's room for all kinds of new types of businesses. And
when you say new businesses, do you mean service or retail or a combination? Or?
I'd say a combination, but there really is a gap in several particular areas. Services-wise, business services, there just doesn't seem to be compared to other areas. And by the way, this study compared us to Baldwin County, just outside of Mobile, to see how we might compare to a economy that has been proven to be very well balanced. And some business services are quite lacking, and you can see that in the startup of a lot of new, businesses that are servicing, new businesses that are servicing businesses such as printers and internet type of businesses and so on and so forth. But there are definitely opportunities for retail types too. Of course, you know that we have a concentration already of arts and specialty kind of retail shops, but certainly there's that in itself is a cluster that actually has got a lot of momentum going and has the ability to attract more. That is obviously growing and expanding for reasons all of its own. So there's room for businesses in that category too. In other words, you can't say that there's too many of those types of businesses. There's not, because we have the type of demographics and mix down here that supports that type of business.
A lot has been said about the fast growth, the rapid growth. What kind of factors come into play when you have an area growing so rapidly with new residents? Does the business community have to play catch up?
Well, I think businesses emerge at about the same rate as the population, particularly with retail. Retail tends to grow at about the same rate, they've shown, as the population grows. There's probably, and in some cases we do play catch up. For instance, in variety type of stores, there's been a particular lack of variety department type stores in this particular area, and we may at some point have to play catch up to get our area up to speed and meeting our population's needs in that particular retail area. But typically, retail services do follow the population growth
pretty closely.
Yeah, so where we've seen a 10% population growth, say in the past 5 years, the same growth has occurred in the business sector too. Although along the way, you're always going to see some gaps, and neither our retail or our business sectors have really met all the gaps out there. And in fact, you'll see that I was able to find out in looking at the trade area capture of specific types of businesses that not one category of business has met all the needs of our population, except maybe restaurants, which I think is at about 100% capacity right now.
In your study, did you find a lot of people coming in from outside the parish to shop in St. Tammany because of the specialty type?
Yeah, there is a pull factor that I was able to show from the study of people being pulled in from other areas, particularly downtown, for the specialty type of shops. And again, that's probably a reason why there's been a cluster of that type of business and continued growth in that area, because we're not just seeing customers from the trade area itself. We're pulling people in from outside the area.
Well, in your study, I guess everyone can just look around and see what's going on in the growth and the retail and things like that. In your study, what sources did you pull together? I mean, Bowen Associates is what, statistics? Where did you get
Well,
your information?
First off, I mean, you can go to the 1980 census or 1990 census and get some start getting some stuff from the 1990 census and so on. But that data just isn't current enough to really track where we are now. So I went to several private sources, primarily Claritas data, to get most of my information.
So this is well documented information we have.
Yeah. And from Claritas, I was able to get demographics and business and numbers of businesses in particular SIC code categories.
Oh, okay.
So that was real helpful because the data really isn't there readily from governmental sources and such. You really have to go to a private source to get it.
How do you feel about this heavy concentration of arts and crafts and galleries, art galleries and things like that? Is that a healthy thing, or should it be diversified?
One thing I think is a big plus is exactly that cluster. I think that's a big positive for our area. And as far as downtown goes, we're not at all homogenized like some other areas you would see. This is a really dynamic, vibrant kind of downtown. It continues to be. I know that it's kind of still in the comeback stage, but it's I think exciting when you see that type of development continuing to grow. You know, the art galleries and the specialty shops and that particular type of business we should try to sustain, help support to continue to grow, because it is, like you had mentioned, one of the ways we're pulling people from outside, and to get those tourism dollars in downtown is a big plus. Those are export dollars coming in from outside to help to support our infrastructure and build our roads and our schools and such. That's the kind of thing that it's kind of a win-win type of business to go after, or tourism.
Yeah,
is a key type of thing to go after.
Did your numbers take into account the parish courthouse being in the middle of all this and the parish offices that sort of feed into that? Is that a major factor in the economy of downtown Covington?
Oh, absolutely. Really, my numbers just showed what the existing square footage was available downtown, which I can't off the top of my head come up with that number, and the fact that there is some reusable space that will be becoming available downtown, and that space, the courthouse, possibly the post office, and so on, has enormous potential for the downtown, and really is going to help steer us in the right direction if we figure out exactly the right things to do with that space. And I did kind of dream up a few recommendations for the space, but really I think coordinated effort needs to be made to make sure that the reuse of those existing buildings is done right.
So several people who are living on Columbia Street now, the upstairs are becoming apartments, and people seem to be drawn into that area to that lifestyle, living over a storefront.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, and it says a lot about downtown. And well, just think about it. The ability to be able to walk anywhere to get anything you need within walking distance. I mean, that's a big positive for a lot of people, and it certainly, I think, is a big attraction of locating down here. And the businesses benefit too, because a lot of these people can they're getting pedestrian traffic, and that's a big plus for businesses in locating down here. And we need to promote pedestrian traffic, which is going to be a great part about having the Trace come through here.
Oh yes, Tammany Trace is
pull
definitely.
in more people downtown. Yeah.
You think that has a lot of potential for downtown itself?
I sure do. Yeah, I sure do. And there again is another business potential. I mean, anybody who wants to think up a creative business can just imagine bikers coming through downtown area, and maybe a ice cream stop, or you name it. There's just a number of different things that could be done.